feel comfortable in your own skin. Don't try to change who you are. That's crucial for your own mental health and for your sort of genuinity. You need to be genuine. Secondly, try to maintain a level of excellence in whatever you do. Try to do things to the best of your ability. Now, I don't mean a negative sort of perfectionism, but what I rather mean is just you come to a point in life where you start thinking about what is it in life that really matters. And obviously, in this particular case, because of the way that this society works, in another society or in another environment, in Africa, for example, it would have been just another comment. It would have been just another statement, and life would have gone on.
That's right.
Same thing I'm a multiple minority, a serial minority member,
Right.
But those are the cards I've been dealt with in life, and I happily and proudly carry. And whatever follows is what I make of it, obviously.
But thanks very much for joining us, Kundera, and I'm grateful finally to have you in this discussion.
Thank you for having me.
For the main purpose of wanting to hear and learn about your story, that could inspire so many people who are in the process of becoming something in the society they're living in. And always my first question is for you to tell yourself who you are and who is Kundera if someone sees Kundera.
Yeah, it's not always an easy question to answer, when you start thinking about it deeply. But I guess I'm a now 37-year-old, can't say young man anymore, but man from Helsinki, born and raised in Finland, lived my whole life in the Helsinki metropolitan area. I'm of Ethiopian descent. My parents came to Finland in the mid-70s. I converted to Islam when I was about 17, 18 years old. I've had a very international upbringing. Despite being born in Finland, have never studied in Finnish per se, but since my elementary education, I've studied in English up until tertiary or higher education.
That's right.
So I'm bilingual in that sense. I speak both Finnish and English, I could say, at like a mother tongue level. And then I have some other languages that I don't speak so well, but okay, I speak Arabic quite fluently, and I'm of Oromo background, so I come from the Oromo ethnic group, and my Oromo is not that strong, mainly due to the fact that the diaspora community here in Ethiopia is rather small, and in Finland is rather small. I'm a father of two, family person. I, up until very recently and to a certain degree, still work in the healthcare industry. So what could I say? I'm a professional, especially in the field of business development, human resource, leadership, things like this. And for the last 4 to 5 years, I've especially worked in the healthcare sector. So I guess that maybe explains a little bit about myself. I really like working with people. I'm fascinated. The human mind fascinates me. I think one of the main sort of goals for me in life, in working life, in life in general, is to sort of help myself and help others to succeed in whatever they want to succeed to the best potential that they're able.
Fantastic. That's a big mission. Sometimes it's difficult to fulfill it, but I know that you have, in your career history, you have led, or you have been in the leading position. Do you consider yourself as a natural leader in a sense?
I think very many roles in life in general, and I would say leadership is one of those. Roles and tasks are there for the taking, so it requires a certain degree of initiative on the part of the person, and that's why I think it's really important for us as human beings to be proactive. That being said, to a certain degree, I do agree that some people have, natural tendencies to, or they're inclined to do certain things. And for me, it's been rather natural to take leadership positions. I think that a key part of it, or it's important for a person not to long for leadership. I don't think leadership should be something that's thought after. Because if leadership becomes an end goal in and of itself, it can be very toxic. It can be very corruptive and things like this. But yeah, to a certain degree, I'd say yes. It's been natural for me, and I think, like I said, the human mind, it fascinates me, and emotional intelligence, being in touch with your own feelings and being able to somehow control them, manage them, and then understanding others and their feelings and their behavioral patterns, and then being able to sort of live in that interconnectivity with other people. That's something that really fascinates me. So I think leadership for me, a big part of it is making sure and empowering people so that they have the required resources and tools to succeed in whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Exactly. You said a very important point, that leadership shouldn't be the starting point. And I know this could be one of the biggest issues that are facing or is facing many of the upcoming generations and generations which have been that everybody wants to be somewhere on top. This leads me to the next question. You were raised and born here, and managed to still find yourself a space into the operative environment. You are still considered as an immigrant background citizen, right?
Right.
Or how do you feel about that? And how did you manage to gallop towards the crowd and become in the position that you have become in different situations?
I used to rap when I was younger, and there was a track that we wrote about racism in Finland, and in the chorus, it was like a chant, and what I said was, "You can call me what you call me, but I know who I am. I know my place in society, where I belong. I understand that you have a problem with accepting it. The fact that I can cope with it, that is too bad you can't. I'll hope for it."
Wow.
So, I think it's really important for a person to come to terms about what their background is, where their roots are from, who they are. And, depending on a person's experiences, that might differ. But nevertheless, to be sort of come to terms and be at peace with that. Once that is done, I think that what other people project to you, its importance just diminishes. It's not as important anymore. You have to know who you are. Once you know that, you start feeling comfortable in your own skin, and then you just do your thing. You want to be a professional football player, go for it. You want to go into marketing, IT, medicine, whatever it is you want to do, you can achieve it, right? But first is knowledge of self. So I think, yeah, I'm Black. I'm of African descent. I'm a Muslim. I'm a multiple minority, a serial minority member,
Right.
But those are the cards I've been dealt with in life, and I happily and proudly carry them.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever follows is what I make of it. Obviously, I'm a firm believer in fate,
Mm-hmm.
and things happen, but the best you can do is the best you can do. The best you can do is the best you can do.
So realizing who you are,
yeah,
and act while embracing your own identity in multiple ways.
Yeah,
that's very strong. And the rap track was great. I'm wondering why you're no longer doing that.
Sorry for another time.
We'll come back to that someday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a reason why that track came up.
Yeah, for sure.
Been a moment in your life as a professional, as an entrepreneur, or as a leader of an organization, or in the time of your life trying to get to where you are, has there been a time that you felt like, okay, maybe this is enough? I need to stop or change my plans or something like that. Has there been that moment of regret or push to stop pushing forward?
Well, I this recent episode that I had, I was working as a CEO for Lado Privacy, which is a company that I founded with colleagues of mine who are very dear to me, and the company is also very dear to me. But in the beginning of October, when the conflict started in the Middle East, in Palestine, I made some remarks on LinkedIn, actually, which has become increasingly also a platform for social and political discourse. Mm-hmm. And that was misconstrued. And, obviously I clarified my positions and things like this. But at that point, as I said in the beginning, I'm a person with multiple roles in the community. Mm-hmm. And in business life, in my family life, in my personal life. So very often it's possible to sort of do a nice balancing act and live in symbiosis with all of these roles. But then sometimes there are certain, at least in my case, the way I felt was, you have to do certain prioritization. You have to do what's important to you in life. And I made the decision, remains to be seen whether it was the correct one, that I stood down as CEO of the company that I helped to build, and considered that I was not able to, in that role, to stand up for the values that I stood up for without having to second guess and think what it is I can say or do. And that was a situation, you know, it was a very intense period of time, like a week
Sounds
or a
like
bit
that.
more. Yeah, it was a very intense period of time. You know, I did a lot of soul searching. I was thinking about like what is it that I want to do? You know, the last 4 or 5 years have been very hectic in terms of the rat race that I've been. I was telling an acquaintance that it was the kind of rat race where the legs of one rat aren't sufficient to run. You know, it was just it was a speed race, and it's been really hectic. It's also been very rewarding, obviously, in many ways, whether it's financial or just the know-how, or you know, getting more expertise in various matters and things like this. But then at the same time, it's also taken a toll on my health, for example, or it's taken a toll on the amount of time I can give to my family. It's taken a toll on how much I can, you know, develop myself spiritually and things like this. So you come to a point in life where you start thinking about what is it in life that really matters. And obviously, in this particular case, you know, because of the way that this society works, you know, in another society or in another environment, in Africa, for example, it would have been just another comment. It would have been just another statement, and life would have gone on.
That's right.
Same thing in many parts of Asia, but because of the sort of environment that we live in, I had to come into terms with these things, right? So a long answer, but yeah, this is actually very recently, this sort of a pondering I had to go through.
Yeah. So you had to choose you first, and that's very important.
Yeah, I had to prioritize, and so far so good. It's been there's been a lot of blessings. I'd say, you know, the amount of time that I have for myself, the amount of time I have for my family, and to just contemplate and read and do things. So, you know, it also gave me a chance to take a breather and look at what's next, and maybe, you know, when deciding what next is, then I'll be so much wiser, and I'll be this much more mature to make the next decision.
Yeah, but you know, there is it's difficult to know when you can be right.
Yeah,
there is no moment that you can try to do your best, as you said, but many times, depending to who is around you, what's seeing you, it's so hard to know when you're right, and sometimes you just breathe and get back, and breathe and get back. As long as we do everything for the best intentions, that's all what matters.
Yes, and what you just mentioned about intentions is so important. You know, we should always try to remain sincere. Exactly. And sincerity in action is something really, really important. And if we have that, we have sincerity, and we have pure intentions, then I think the actions that follow from that starting point, for the most part, obviously you need to use your logical reasoning. You need to weigh options and all of that. You know, you can't just make silly decisions and say that it was for pure intentions. That's not right either. But then at the same time, sincerity is everything.
Exactly. That looks like a very fresh case, and we'll dig into that as we go further later on, because possibly live someday. Because I think it's this type of cases will be more.
And they
haven't read a comment, but
they've already taken place.
Yeah. So there are quite a lot, and I think we're living in an era where we need to help each other's brothers, but those who don't know, you know, where, for example, you're coming from another person that we don't know where they come from, helping each other to understand and swim on the same water. This is going to be a great future learning. And our time is rushing, but if you have to talk to your brothers and sisters, and meaning not only Ethiopians or Africans, but anyone who is coming from the international foreign background, born and raised, or those who came in here like myself in Finland, like myself, and found their space, or those who are especially figuring out how to make it happen. What type of an advice would you give to these people?
Try to give three advice. The first one is what we already spoke about. Feel comfortable in your own skin. Don't try to change who you are. That's crucial for your own mental health and for your sort of genuinity. You need to be genuine. Secondly, try to maintain a level of excellence in whatever you do. Try to do things to the best of your ability. Now, I don't mean a negative sort of perfectionism, but what I rather mean is just try to put your everything into whatever it is that you do, and try to master your skill. And then the third, which is a bit more practical, is network. Get to know people, especially in whatever your field is. Get out there and make acquaintances outside of your sort of natural habitat, your natural circles, whether it's your own faith-based community or your ethnic community. Obviously, if there's opportunities there, network there as well, 100%, because your sort of your home base is more likely to help you as well. But then network in the field that you are trying to pursue a career in, or, even if it's not a career, whatever it is you're trying to pursue, network in that sort of habitat in order to get forward. So I guess those three things: be comfortable in your own skin, don't forget who you are, have a level of excellence and try to master your skill, and then networking, and then not to forget that sincerity and intention, pure intentions.
Exactly. Perfect. This is a great introduction. I can smell quite a lot of talks, but I hope this will be a talk that people listening in the future as well. I think for now I will let you, LD, and I think this would be a wonderful intro of galloping individual of the foreign background to Finnish environment. And I hope it's an address as well to the decision makers that for people of foreign background are also working hard here to get the things happen.